Oh, yes. I didn't finish one year earlier, so it's 1 year down now.
Hey everybody. I'm actually on vacation this week, working remotely from Nags Head, North Carolina. So this is gonna be a short one, only gonna last 30 minutes. But as I've done in the past 2 weeks, happy to answer any questions, whether they be banking questions or career questions or just general questions about life. But low quality, bad audio probably because I don't have my mic, and this is just off the Mac webcam. So I apologize for that. I'm here with some of my college buddies in Nags Head, North Carolina, enjoying the beach and working remotely. But happy to answer any questions in the live chat. I know this is low quality. I'll only be on for 30 minutes today. We got someone that works for Accenture, Andrew Taylor, and we got someone that works for the Fed, William Shermer over there. If you guys have any questions,
happy to answer any consultant related questions. Also, software engineer is my title. Please feel free to pay any questions. Bryan is only so much technical expertise, so I'd be happy to weigh in.
But yeah, I think today's gonna be a lame one. I know the quality is bad, the audio quality is bad, but I guess you guys have me very one-on-one, independent level. Because I remember the last 2 weeks we had like 120 right off the bat. But I think today, just because I didn't schedule this or plan this for a while, just because I was out in the beach and at dinner. If you guys want to just ask questions in the live chat, I will happily answer them. But probably going to keep it short given that the quality is bad. For those trickling in now, I think I'm going to keep today's short just because I'm kind of on a semi remote work vacation where I'm working, but I'm not at my house. I'm in Nags Head, North Carolina with my friends working remotely. So if you guys have any questions, happy to answer, but I'll probably get off in like 30 minutes. I think one thing that I do want to talk about that I'm sure my friends here can attest to is
Lots of questions. Do you see that?
I don't see any questions.
I see lots.
Oh shoot. Wait, sorry guys. Why do I not see any other questions? There's questions? Wait, are you messing with me or no? Oh shoot. I'm like literally not seeing any other questions. Should I refresh my page? Does that do anything? Wait, can I see that? How do you? Oh shoot! All right, I'm reading off the question. Sorry. HSG, how are you? What's up, Bryan? This is gonna call it crazy echo. Can I get into IB if I got a 3.1? So a lot of firms, at least for mine, had a 3.533 cutoff. I think if your major GPA allows your GPA to be higher, that's what I usually recommend. It's rare, like a hard cutoff. If you network enough, if you talk to enough people, I've seen people get over it. I've seen people that have had under 3.0s go over it. Hey, Teo, how's it going? Accounts Equity, hey man. Any tips for students from non-target schools entering? I actually have a video on it, but I think it's very possible for non-target students to enter banking. A lot of it just has to do with infinite networking. The issue with target versus non-target is the idea that there's no guaranteed spots for you, but I think the hurdle is definitely jumpable. Love the content. Thanks to you, Tommy. Do you think deal sourcing ability is the most important factor for someone long-term success? I would agree. I think one of the biggest reasons / issues that people have or the reality that the best analysts are never the best managing directors, and the best managing directors haven't been the best analysts. Being able to grind and creating PowerPoint does not necessarily translate to deal inflow and being able to source deals, as Tommy mentioned. So I think in the long run, it's more of a salesy role than what you think of as a banking role for sure. Have you watched Invincible? I have not, but I heard very good things. Big Steven Yeun fan. Didn't watch the source comics, but I've heard good things. Hey Brian, my guy, what's up, Smager? Guys, I don't know why my live chat's not working, but I am reading off a phone, which may help. Hey man, hope you're well. Was wondering if pursuing a chartered accountancy followed by CFA as you grow out. I'm assuming chartered accountancy is a CPA. There's people that do accounting advisory and then jump to investment banking after doing like a Big Four due diligence or QOE work. I would argue CFA might not be the most direct best route. I always recommend MBA before CFA. Relevance of GMAT score and recruiting process for banking. I've never been asked a GMAT score. It's never a requirement. GMAT's solely, if any, for MBAs. Put Andrew Taylor on. Okay, well,
Let's fucking go.
We'll show my Andrew Taylor to the people here. Thoughts on a career in financial risk management. I don't really know much about financial risk management, but if it's any level of finance related role, I think going from that to banking might be easier than other roles. I'm just not fully aware of financial risk personally. No internship junior year, am I screwed? Statistically, I don't want to say screwed, but yes, it's hard to transition to a full-time role without a junior internship, but I've seen people do it. Ask your friend to read the questions. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Anything I should be looking to do as a community college student going into my second year?
Yeah, let me read your questions.
I think you're going to read my questions.
Yeah,
Don't you want to watch basketball?
Yeah, I can't
All
get
right.
the word.
All right. My friend's going to read some of the questions just for fun. All right, Andrew.
Any idea of how Houston IB is?
Houston investment banking. So I don't know anyone personally in Houston investment banking, but I've heard we have 31 people on. Guys, for those trickling in, I'm probably going to stay only for 30 minutes because I'm in the presence of friends that I'm remotely working with.
In
And I
the
think
process of friends.
presence. And I think it's kind of rude to just do this, but Houston IB, I think they have a lot of utilities and infrastructure and power related banking and private equity shops, but they're definitely not the hub of finance by any means. Next question.
Yeah, I got lost. Thoughts on deferred MBA programs?
So deferred MBA programs. I've looked into them. I think a lot of the top ones have it. So Harvard has them. MIT Sloan has it, and it basically allows you to get accepted during undergrad, and essentially brings you into a position where you can lock down an MBA entrance and work for 4 years without having to worry about it. I have heard that the entry point for those are a lot higher, just because they expect a lot more. I'd recommend it if you have time.
Your friends are laughing at you. I guess it's because you're a YouTuber. Woohoo.
Correct. Some of these people are the biggest haters from the beginning, saying that
I'm one of the first followers.
This wasn't going to work, but look where we are now. All right, next.
Mm-hmm. Okay, your view for recent inflation data, if inflation would last for long-term inflation.
So I briefly talked about this last time, but the fun fact is that they stopped reporting M2 at a weekly rate a couple months ago just because it skyrocketed so much. I'm definitely not an economist. Actually, ironically, surprisingly, some of these guys are much more well-versed in economics. Will literally works for the U.S. Fed in New York, but I think, 38. Guys, for those of you joining, I'm happy to answer chats, but I'm probably going to sign off in 30 minutes. Or I guess 23 minutes. But my understanding, I mean, if you keep pumping money, if you keep handing out Biden bucks and Trump bucks, obviously there will be a level of inflation. But I'm not an economics expert. I'm biased politically. So, Will says that's not necessarily true as someone who works with the New York Fed.
He knows more.
I don't know nothing.
He's off screen.
He's off screen, but he's a little shy.
Brian's maybe the dumbest of our friends.
That's facts.
What are your favorite musicians? That's a fun. How do you prepare for your summer banking internship?
Here's a fun question. All right, I'll answer the fun question first. My favorite artist right now, Blackpink Jennie, biggest crush ever. But in terms of who I actually listen to, we should actually watch this. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'm a big Tyler the Creator fan. I don't know if I'm too old for knowing that, but like in Odd Future, Tyler the Creator, big fan.
Yeah,
I'm a huge listener of him. I like ASAP a lot. I've been listening to I know I'm gonna butcher his name, but the guy that's in Peaches, that's not Daniel Caesar. The R&B guy. I'm a big fan of him. And then summer internship, I my go-to advice is like be communicative, especially if you're remote. Like almost be annoying and constantly hit up people on Skype and Microsoft Teams and let them know that you're doing work. I think it's far more to let people know you're doing work versus you actually doing the work.
Which is sad. But I think generally speaking, networking, err on the side of being annoying.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
You'd be surprised how many older professionals just want to be like, oh, this guy's a go-getter.
Facts. Based on no evidence.
Are your roommates in banking too? So to be clear, myself and the other people here are not Brian's roommates, and we're not in banking, but he does have other roommates.
Correct. But these are some of my smartest friends by far. So Andrew works for Accenture as a software engineer, and then Will works for the New York Fed, and then Connor works for Berkeley Research Group as a consultant.
Hey Brian, thanks for the AMA. Thoughts on changing city for a career?
I mean, obviously it matters even less right now, but I'm more of on the traditional side of, I think in terms of growing like a professional network, the location actually matters. And I think slowly but surely there will be some level of return to normalcy and return to offices. And like, just as an extrovert, I think there's limitations to Zoom. And I think certain cities definitely represents different things. And there's a reason why Andrew's in San Francisco. There's a reason why Will's in New York. There's a reason why Connor's in DC, and I think those things matter in the long run for sure.
Can a financial analyst transition into investment banking?
So I've said repeatedly, like I'm really still not sure what financial analyst entails. It's just like a very broad term. I know that it's like sometimes about FP&A.
Software engineer.
It's about it's about like FP&A. It's about like strategic finance. I will say if you know modeling skills and you're interested in banking and you've done the networking efforts, and I'm sure you're a financial analyst for a reason. I'm sure it's a easier hop than other broader business roles for sure.
Fun question break. What are your favorite smells?
What are my favorite smells? Okay, I like. I'm a big fan of like pasta. I like when garlic is roasting in olive oil. I love that smell. I also.
Oh God.
I gotta do one more.
Straight carbs.
You know what? I've found out through this beach trip. I like sunscreen smell. All right.
Let's see. Okay, so Brian, if I can't break into IB, how can I work my path to IB?
My go-to answer is always through MBA. Like I guess I'm sorry to say, if you didn't make it out right after undergrad, I think the best and easiest way, by easy I mean highest percentage ways, is through MBAs.
The cow pie threw out a Tyler the Creator Yonkers reference. Great
Hell
song.
yeah.
Do you think, this is not from him, do you think short online internships have as much weight as contact internships? I'm from South Africa, and the market for internships is pretty tight.
I mean, if we're being real, and if we were to compare like apples to apples, obviously I think in-person contact is a lot more meaningful. But we are, I think, in transition of in the industry where virtual internships have weight. I'm talking more in terms of like not on your resume. I think you can even kind of, I wouldn't provoke lying, but say having an internship, I think the impact that the internship has on you is probably far superseded in person.
What do you think about Texas A&M? Target school or not, looking at for its networking?
I don't know anyone from Texas A&M personally that's in finance, but given that like big Texas schools are pretty like finance heavy, I know that SMU is a target school. I know that UT Austin's a target school. I don't know Texas A&M. I've watched Texas A&M football game. I know they're good.
So I'll take this next one. Why aren't your friends in IB? Was a long hours a turnoff, or were they not interested in finance?
Wow, good question.
For me, both. We went to the same college, which is how I know this guy.
IB's too easy.
Will says IB's too easy, but I disagree. IB to me is a bad trade-off of career prospects and working hours. I'm in the tech industry right now, or I'm trying to break into it. I currently work for a consulting company, Accenture, trying to become basically just like another software engineer in California, squeeze in the Bay, hashtag it, tweet it. That as an industry is a much better trade-off of working hours to pay and
Agreed.
Working hours to career track. You have a really good income track in the tech industry, which is also true in the banking industry, but less people hate themselves.
I can't disagree.
And this guy quit.
They know.
Okay, so Tupac or Biggie Smalls?
Oof. See, I'm not well versed in like that generation of rap to like make a decision.
Yeah.
I will say of the songs that I've heard from the two artists, I have a personal preference towards Tupac, but I understand that I'm not in a position to judge their artistry.
Okay, so we got a thoughts on IB to PE.
IB if you want stable advisory that guarantees a certain income. PE if you want long-term capital gains and you want more of a sell-side experience.
Okay, this comes from A. Ibrahim. Excuse me. So, hey, Brian, my GPA is kind of trash. My experience is a bit unrelated. Work in a fundraising company, but I have the skill set and passion to work as a data analyst. Graduating this December. Any tips?
Data analyst is hot right now. Like data science, anything data related is very hot. It's everywhere. I think both in terms of supply and demand. Everyone wants to do it, but there's also so many roles for it. I think there's very tangible skills that you learn from it. I would say.
I think a good way if you're trying to do data analytics. On our friend Connor, who's still working at the moment.
Data genius.
Data master.
God.
Okay, there's certain like technical hard skills that you can learn that are great on a resume and are great to try to break into that. I don't even call it an industry. It's like everywhere right now. So like SQL is really great. There's a bunch of data visualization tools like
Tableau.
Tableau is the classic. Tableau. What was the other one?
Jupyter Notebook.
Jupyter, that's Python.
Oh, I clearly know nothing. I know nothing about data.
Okay, but the point is there's very like specific hard skills that you can learn yourself. There's tons of free resources online. So yeah, it's very possible to have these things and then be applying to roles. So I think if you're trying to do data analytics, it's always something that millions of companies want more of.
Agreed.
Thoughts on equity research associate moving to IB analyst after 1 to 2 years?
I've seen that done. Most of my friends actually have done the reverse. They did an IB summer internship. They hated it and they went to equity research. But I know that the reverse is possible.
Hey Brian, who is this guy? I'm Andrew, and I taught this kid everything he knows. Is Berkeley a target school for banks?
Berkeley House is a target school, correct?
Have you been cussed out at work in IB?
I have never been cussed out at work. No.
Best ways to prep yourself as a high schooler into finance, preferably hedge fund or PE. You've got it figured it out.
Okay, I
Price.
always beat around this answer, Hayden. But if you're a high schooler, that should not be top of mind for you. Go have fun, enjoy your life. You don't know if you want to do IB or not.
We got snaps in the other room for that.
And this is a room full of liberal arts guys, granted, and we didn't know what we wanted to do until yesterday. But
we're all washed.
But at the same time, like if you're a high schooler, go to dates, go on dates, like have fun. That's not your priority.
I mean, no, get a econ major or something. But yeah. Anyway, how to break into advisory jobs straight out of undergrad. Majoring in finance and minoring in ACC. Go to a really low ranked school in Midwest. Involved in school, 3.8 GPA.
I'd say your biggest barrier, if I would just be honest, is the low ranked school in Midwest part. But you can overcome that through networking. I think having the finance background, having the 3.8 GPA, there's plenty of jobs that advisory roles need. And like to AT's point earlier, I think our generation's being awoken and realizing that advisory roles are not very attractive, and all these people that were previously in professional services are moving on. Me being a prime example, and I think there's a lot of openings and not enough people to fill them, in my understanding.
Thoughts on risk management, conventional path to bring a risk analyst, valuation / credit / market risk.
Yeah, and I answered that question earlier. There was a couple of associates in my group that transitioned from those roles, and they did very well because skill is translated well. But I would argue a lot of them transitioned through a very stable network and knowing someone on the inside. So I think your only limitation is proving yourself through that network.
What bank did you work at?
Fun fact, the only limitation I had after I declared this as an outside business activity as a FINRA representative is the fact that I can't name my firm. I don't know if the rule still stays in, but I just want to stay on the side on the safety side. It functions as a free advertisement for them. It's not that they don't want me to talk about them. It's more of a financial rule. So I wouldn't say, but if you Google Bryan Jun Investment Banking, I'm top of the list.
Are you really?
Actually,
are you really top of the list?
Really weird flex. But if you Google just Bryan Jun, my LinkedIn is the first result. You can easily figure out where I worked. Oh man,
that's trash. He's not that big of a deal, guys.
I'm really not that big of a deal.
Stamina tips for working in IB.
Stamina tips. Keep yourself hungry. Have a giant Nalgene bottle or hydro flask if you're cooler than that. Try to work out, but you got to keep eating. Like
try to work out. God, that's sad. Just do you want an industry that has better hours?
The fact that the question is, how do I raise my stamina for the job? Like,
you guys are built different than I was.
Built different.
Okay, doing a software developer course on LinkedIn because it's free. My actual majors are Econ and finance. Do you think this would be relevant if I would want to apply for an internship at maybe AWS? Can I take this? Okay, so AWS is massive, as I'm sure you know, like everywhere. Fun fact, Amazon's like by and large biggest source of income is from AWS. It's not from
not even close. Not even close.
Ordering stuff online. It's like a blowout. I think if you're really trying to do AWS stuff, there's tons of just learning AWS, and like even if that's a somewhat more boring of a skill, like it's not as flashy as being a software developer and like knowing how to set up your own servers and stuff like that. There's just a ton of companies that are using AWS. So if you can like set up EC2 instances and like understand how the data lake works and all these various AWS specific terms, I think that could carry you a long way.
Great.
Like that's something that I'm trying to expose myself more to. So it's definitely like those very specific hard skills are high in demand. Hey, what's something I should be doing if I'm joining the bank with the goal of shifting to another office in another country?
Ooh, I would make that a priority of declaring that early on to HR and letting them know that it's a priority for you. Not because they want to prevent you from doing it, but banks do a lot of longer term planning in terms of allocating people, and there's a lot of capacity based allocation. So I would go in with saying, hey, I want to be long term at this bank, whether that's true or not doesn't matter. Just tell them like I want to have a long term career, and me being in a certain location will allow me to do that.
We got an accounting major going into senior year, wanting to work in data analytics. Any advice? Again, data analytics, super vague. It encompasses a whole bunch of stuff. As I said earlier, and again, there's another roommate of ours, not roommate,
week-long roommate,
who is like grinding right now doing data analytics that is more advanced than what I know. But there are some specific tools and specific hard skills that you can expose yourself to, like SQL and Tableau. Just basically some like softwares that are really widely used. And if you wanted to get in, do more data analytics, knowing these hard skills will help you out. This is a fun one. Is renewable energy a good industry to be in right now? Currently a financial analyst for an energy firm in Miami.
I mean, renewable energy is hot. I think there's a guarantee of it being a priority for at least the next 3 to 4 years with the current administration. It's just a buzzword, but it's also a very effective buzzword. And I think there's just so much investment going into it right now that the rich people behind it is going to try to make it work regardless. Personal opinions on it, but I think it's a good industry to be in for sure.
Is it true that being tall helps in the business world?
Honestly, I'll be blunt. I think it does. I think just
being attractive.
I think being attractive, like it's been statistically proven. But also at the same time, one interesting thing,
this guy made it. You know,
that you're 5'5".
One article that I read. I don't know if you guys. One article that I read was because of Zoom and because of digital presence, us cutting off here, height, placement at the table, and like in physical presence is now it means a lot less for conferencing. But I think at the end of the day, like during my banking days, I did work with a lot of Midwest giants, but like average height for my firm was like 6'2", and I felt small.
Bryan,
he is pretty small for the record.
Huh?
He's not 5'5", but he's small. Okay, is it tips for standing out in terms of networking? I can do it quickly. I did like these guys are doubting me.
I forgot this is Andrew's channel.
I did multiple internships on basically like sales outreach, and this is generally true for like how to like be engaging with someone that you're at the end of the day just reaching out to via email or via voicemails. I think it helps a lot to be regular with it. So something that I would do if I was like really trying to get in touch with a person is like every 3 days, send an email. And there's like obviously like polite wording and stuff like that you can do, but err on the side of aggression for sure.
I agree.
When it comes to networking.
I agree. It's still coming. Oh my gosh.
It's still, you're blowing up.
Right.
You're going viral right now. Is it difficult to move from a back office role at a well-known asset manager to a front office position at an investment bank? I don't know what any of that means.
I've heard back office to front office transition is harder than people think just because of stigmas associated with back office roles. I will say if the firm is big enough, I think inner firm transitions isn't as hard as people make it to be. But I think just the idea of you being in a back office role, trying to get into a front office role requires you to prove yourself a bit more. But I've definitely seen examples of it. I don't think it's impossible.
Wait, are you really not allowed to say what company you worked at? Because you've said mine like 2 or 3 times.
Correct. Well, at least that's what they told me when I was working there.
All right, whatever. Bryan, will you do a shot right now?
We'll do a shot right now. We don't have hard alc. I'm happy to do a shot, but we only have beer.
We don't have anything.
Sorry.
This kid's lame. I also made that one up. Are you invested in crypto? Do you think Elon was just stupid or trying to manipulate?
I am growingly kind of getting suspicious of Elon's behavior in the sense that I think he knows exactly what he's doing. But I do think he's somewhat manipulating it in a legal extent. But if you guys were in the shoes, if I was in his shoes, would you not do the same? I don't know.
Why do a lot of people sleep on private wealth management? And do you think it's still going to be a solid area within the next decade or so?
I think PWM is slept on because it's viewed more as a salesy, like banker, like what we think of as like bank teller role, as opposed to a sexy like investment banking role. But would it continue to be a thing? I know there's a lot of robo advisors and like things like Wealthfront and Betterment, but yeah, I think there's a human aspect. Especially if you're dealing with millions and millions of dollars, you would want that catered approach. Ironically, it's proven that like some robo advisors in the long run probably do better than like personal investors, but I think the job's here to stay. I understand why it's less sexy.
I joined a little late. Are you Brian's roommate, friend, lover, homie? Take a guess. Just kidding. I'm his friend from college. So is this guy off screen and that guy who you just saw go to the bathroom. That's Will Shermer. He works for the big man upstairs. Not God.
Not God. but Joe Biden.
Yeah, he works for Joe Biden.
He works for Joe Biden.
At the Fed. Do you like SKA? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Do you like ska?
Ska. I like ska.
Okay. Any advice for senior undergrad in math who wants to get into finance? I feel like you're already off to a great start. I'm thinking grad school in financial engineering, but not sure.
Wow.
I generally feel like math majors are
the top
better than econ
by
majors
far.
and better than finance majors in terms of like your the demand for that.
There's a reason why all four of us are in generic, boring professional services companies because none of us are math majors.
I'm a math major.
Oh,
You're not.
No, you're not.
I thought you're econ.
You're an econ.
I'm BS in math.
This guy's BS
well,
in math.
that's why he's working for the man.
You guys should really.
I mean, Will should be the one. All right.
How difficult is it to be in a relationship as a first-year analyst? Is it distance? Are you just grinding in your job and you feel like you don't have time? Please, I want some more details on this one. I would love to engage in this question, but I don't have enough from you. First of all, are you living in the same city? That's very important.
Good thing I have someone to snap a computer right now.
Oh, fuck. Brian, what type of haircut do you get? What should I tell my hairstylist to get that fresh cut?
Is that real? That's not an actual question.
Devin, not.
Devin, I hope I don't get canceled for this, but based on your name, I'm going to assume that you have slightly different hair than me. I mean, I just very bluntly, like, I think like Asian hair is just different from white people hair or whatever you are. But I mean, there's a haircutter that
white people or whatever.
There's a haircutter that I go to usually. I mean, my hair is pretty difficult just because I have a big head. It kind of springs up. Right now, you
get the middle part.
But we've been to the beach a lot right now, so I think the hair is better than it used to be. But I mean, it's nothing special.
Andrew, you are so much more efficient in picking questions than Brian.
We're not picking questions. We're going through every single question, are we?
Yeah, we're going through every single question. Yeah. Sometimes I make some up.
If you guys super chat for whatever reason, I'll give Andrew a cut.
Quants versus investment banking. Who makes more long term? He's my quant.
Quants make more, just not short term and long term. I have friends who are quants that had starting of 300 to 400K with like a 150 side
Jesus,
bonus.
Really?
Yeah.
You're friends with those people?
That's not even close.
Who?
Frank. Well, I don't want to like blow them out,
right.
but I mean, I don't want 56 people to know.
As if that's like global thousands of people.
Hey, this is a big deal, right?
Okay. Hey, Brian, any opinions on a data science major from a target school? Do you think it can possibly allow you to break into high finance roles? VC, PE, HF, consulting?
Here's my thing. If you have a data science major, why go into any of those roles? There's far cooler, possibly higher paying roles.
I feel like VC is pretty cool.
Sure, but it's hard to break into VC immediately.
Consulting, not cool.
VC is the only role that I would see in that list that I would go with a data science background.
You have a data science major? That's cool.
That's cool.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Data analytics guy again. My name's Andrew, if you're referring to me. Oh, no, you're from earlier. I got you.
He's saying I'm the guy again.
I would like to work/live in Europe in the future. Nice. Should I prioritize getting a job in Europe or getting a job in the US and building value first? I want to take a stab at this one.
Take it.
If you can get a job in Europe straight off the bat and that's what you want to do, great. Point A to B, shortest route possible.
We got to keep going.
That being said, I am working at a very large consulting company, Accenture. Not sure if I'm supposed to say that online or not. This guy seems to know rules.
Andrew's about to get fired.
Yeah, I'm about to get canned. But I have plans to in the next year, 2 years to like transfer offices. So if you can like get a job at a very large company, they are typically great about letting you transfer offices.
Completely agreed.
So I got a job. I was just like any office in the United States. I'd love to work at this company. And then now that I'm in, it's very easy to transfer to whatever office I want, which could be Europe,
Europe.
Bangladesh, wherever I'd want.
Agreed. Hey guys, I know I said 30, but just given the double numbers from before, we'll stay till 45. And Andrew Wells answer. I've saw a couple of requests.
I'm having a good time.
Can Andrew have more questions?
Feel free. I feel like let them loose, guys. Let these questions fly. Investment banking, including exit opportunities. That's not a question.
We keep going.
You should bring Andrew on more often. Let's go. Yeah, I'm the backbone of this channel. Guys, let them breathe. No, don't give us any airspace.
We'll keep going.
How much do fraternities help with getting into IB? Now, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
I'm going to grab another drink.
Well, no surprise.
Oh my God.
I guess perhaps not surprisingly, all 4 members in this room belong to the same fraternity. I wouldn't say that fraternities.
That's how we're friends.
I wouldn't say fraternities allow you into banking directly. It definitely has helped in my journey, but that's also because our school was a very primary fraternity-based culture. Yeah.
Okay, so we went to a very small liberal arts school, Washington and Lee, which was like the whole pitch of this school is like our alumni network is great, so you can reach out to alumni to get jobs. IB specific, I'm not sure how much it matters, but generally speaking, alumni helps. I'm not sure how much fraternities help. Do you have an opinion on the reunion of the show Friends?
Okay, I say a lot of controversial things on these live streams, especially compared to my videos, but I have never watched a single minute of Friends, and I don't plan on doing so.
I think it's overrated.
I've heard it's very overrated.
Which flavor White Claw are you drinking? This is black cherry.
I mean, this is Blue Moon.
Shotgun question mark? I'd be down. This guy's kind of soft.
I'm a softie.
Why do you think people join IB with the idea of eventually exiting and not staying long term?
I think a lot of it is just like doing it just because everyone else does it. And I think it might be an outdated idea, and I think it's somewhat of a washed up idea, but the bigger reason is that so many people out there that are in higher positions have that background. It's kind of like a rite of passage. It's like pledge for fraternities. It's like, why are we doing this thing that sucks? But it's because everyone who's up there has already done it.
Or you could just go to an industry that doesn't have pledgeship.
I agree. But I'm saying that's why some people do it.
Okay. Hey, Brian, I'm 23 years old, enrolled in MBA, specializing in finance starting in August. Also, I'm preparing for CFA, which hopefully I plan to clear in 2 years. Will I get into IB?
I mean, I can't answer for concrete, but I think CFAs are valuable. I think having a degree over having a certification obviously is always better. I've just seen so many bankers advance without CFAs that I try to shy away from CFA and even a master's in finance, and I prefer MBAs if I were being honest. But I mean, it can't hurt.
Favorite easy meal to cook when you get home from the office late?
I used to shove my face with 8 servings of pasta and get super fat, marinara sauce or olive oil plus garlic. But now I don't do that anymore. I'm slim.
He's looking clean. You guys should have seen him on the beach earlier.
Woo!
This is also topical. Let me get a sheesh. Sheesh! He was looking good on the beach.
Yes, sir.
How long did it take you to learn financial modeling, and how did you do it? Did you practice models on your own time that your firm had, or did it just come naturally once you started full time?
I would say my first fully I'm comfortable making an operating model probably came in 8 to 10 months into the job, mostly over associate's shoulders, but also self-practice. No bank's gonna hold your hand. There's a lot of resources online, but I think if you headbutt it over and over again, it's more of a natural thing.
Why do you guys subscribe to this guy? You can't even talk. Good evening, Brian. I'm currently a freshman, and the spring semester I finished a PE internship, and I'm currently trying to get a hedge fund internship whose strategy is leverage. With that being said, I go to a state school in New York, University of Buffalo. Do you think I can make it into IB? God, you guys are so much more organized than I was.
I mean, there's already a hedge fund internship and a PE. Something is your concern.
He's trying to get a hedge fund internship.
Okay. Well, I mean, typically, and this is surprising from coming from a semi-liberal arts, but I've heard that a lot of non-target school students take the approach of doing a buy-side summer internship, using that as a sell-side opportunity, which is what you're doing. I think if you're able to land those two things, you'll have a great time and definitely be able to get into IB. Even if you don't, there's always the junior year buy-side opportunity. So I think you're in an optimal spot. Just keep going with trying to get the internship.
Not an IB banker myself. That's not the term. What do you say? Not an IBer?
Not an I banker.
For the record, they spelled it out. I'm not an investment banker, and I tried to be slick
cliche
and abbreviate it. I can't. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But any tips on staying focused on work, even if you're sleep deprived? I still fall asleep with caffeine.
Honestly, I think you just gotta at a certain point you have enough leverage where
Can we have Connor on this?
I know, seriously, like we're not even working right now. I think one thing that I would say is if you're a year into the job, you are worth a lot more to the firm than you think.
Yeah.
And like it takes so much money for them to rehire,
He's like 67.
retrain someone. And I think using that and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna sleep today. I need to let you guys know if I keep going, my focus and my efficiency is gonna go down." They would rather have higher quality work slightly late than you doing half-ass later on.
I can say this is generally very true for I don't know if it's all investment banking, but banking in general.
Services.
I'm making a separate point. These large companies, a lot of the bang for their buck comes from their new hires, and that you can get seduced to go to the company because you see $100K plus, and then you work hours that ends up being an hourly wage of like $25 or $30 an hour
at most.
So yeah, like Brian said, you're worth a lot more than you think to these companies. Would you rather work in banking without Excel or consulting without PowerPoint? That's a fun.
That's a fun one. Excel is such a powerful tool, not just for modeling, but in terms of like data analysis, data cleaning. Excel is a beautiful tool. I mean, Microsoft Office.
I don't think you can do consulting.
You can't. You can't.
I don't
think you can do either job without it. That's a bad question.
That's a fun question.
Or that's a fun question.
For Microsoft though.
Yeah.
Shout out Bill. Best target. Shout out our guy.
Shout out our guy Bill.
Okay, what are the best target MBA schools?
I'm 7. I made I think I also made a video on this, but the usual suspects of like Harvard and Stanford, etc.
Not our school. Do you reckon the LBO, DCF, etc., Wall Street Oasis courses are worth buying to prepare for IB?
I've never used it. I don't think it's worth buying. There's definitely free resources on YouTube and other forums. I would not buy it. Mergers and Inquisitions, I think, has some of them. Wall Street Oasis also prep is expensive. I would not buy it.
We got a follow up to the relationship question coming up later. But what's your opinion on a UBS IB?
UBS is hot. I mean, UBS is bulge bracket now. Their global presence. They're not even a U.S. bank, and they're doing great in the U.S. Apparently, they're very hot in Australia based on my consulting sessions. Great bank.
I'd be surprised if you have an answer to this one. How often do you think offices in the U.S. approve transfers from South Africa?
I don't know anyone from South Africa. I also, this is such a typical American answer, but I've seen far more occurrences just because America is like the Wall Street country. There's a lot more outsource, as in like people going from, that's not outsourcing, people going from the United States to remote satellite offices as opposed to the reverse.
Okay, so relationship question. Current rising junior at NYU Stern. I'm deep into the application process for junior summer internships. Me and my girlfriend both live in NYC. Thoughts? If you're concerned about just the summer internship,
maybe you should reconsider
Well, I don't know. I've been there. I think you should try it. I think you should. There's no reason to prematurely.
Wait, what is the question?
Pull the plug. Thoughts.
Just concern.
The question is thoughts. Question mark.
But you're also in college.
Oh wait, there's another one. There's different question from the same person. I don't want to waste my time on IB if it will risk and possibly lose my girlfriend. How doable is it to manage both? Okay, so that's the real question.
That is the real question.
Is, okay, you know what? Maybe the internship is a great trial run.
Right.
I had a close friend of mine who actually is working in IB. Raymond James, fuck him. I'll name his company. It's not Brian, by the way. It's someone else. He had an internship over the summer with his girlfriend. They lived together. It went not great, to be honest with you, and they actually briefly broke up. It'd be hilarious if he was randomly on this live stream. But then, they ended up getting back together, and now they're happy now. And I think the real lesson there is try it. An internship, generally speaking, is a great way to try this new experience in an industry, with a relationship, in a city, etc.
I think especially for banking because they really try to give you the full-time experience. So I think it's a good attempt.
They really try to give you the
really try.
It sounds like they really just get the best of you. All right, whatever. Okay. LOL, sororities and fraternities aren't a thing in South Africa. What kind of connections would you suggest besides career fairs?
That's hard. There must be someone from South Africa that's in the field right now. Like go on LinkedIn and literally type in South Africa filter. There's a filter where you can do investment banking and do it for South Africa region. Find any level of connection.
LOL. This is for an earlier financial modeling question. LOL. Meanwhile, I'm trying to learn it on my own online. I took a whole 8 months Wait, it took you a whole 8 months, ? I'm still in 3rd year, by the way, junior.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about just like me really being able to carry it, doing my own during my career.
How did you discover your passion for finance?
I don't think I ever had a passion for finance.
I
think I would argue 99% of people that say that they have passion for finance are lying.
Look, I don't think it's wrong, for the record, to like not be super passionate about your career.
I completely agree.
Make money, be comfortable. But that's why my whole thing is like, I want to make a comfortable amount of money without having really shitty hours. Am I allowed to curse on your channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've bypassed that during
Okay.
life. I just think that we're sold on this idea that everything in our life has to align perfectly, but realistically that's not possible. And I think giving up and settling in those ways makes you happier in the long run.
Were you confident in your first interview for IB, or do you think you failed at first?
To just go full like douchey mode and just being very blunt, like I really liked interviewing. I liked the chase and I liked meeting new people and talking about myself. So I've never been nervous in an interview. I will say I've been in situations where I wasn't prepared for an interview and like BSing can only go so far. But I don't think I've ever been nervous in an interview.
Mahir, I see that you've retracted a message. Bad for the channel. We want to see them.
No, I have mods.
Oh, you have mods.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you got modded, then bad for the channel in that way. Does London roughly pay the same as New York?
They're slightly below, but adjusting for cost of living, I believe that they're the same.
Okay, so this is for me. Leave and remember my name, Andrew. So how is culture plus billable and hours at Accenture strategy? So I'm in Accenture technology. I'm in the technology development program, which is slightly different. Accenture strategy is much more typical management consulting kind of stuff. So culture-wise, I've thought it's great. It's very heavy on they want you to do whatever you want to do, and it's up to you to figure that out and to achieve that. And mostly you achieve that through networking. So they want you to be reaching out to groups within Accenture. For me, that's mostly like artificial intelligence, or it's augmented reality or whatever it may be. But they want you to be networking into these groups, which I have found great. Let me have the choice. Let me have the agency to choose.
Is that something you figured out, Andrew, or is that something that made very clear like day one? Like this is the culture at Accenture.
It's pretty day one.
Yeah.
It's pretty day one. They were like, yeah, this is what you should be doing.
Good.
What was the other? Oh, Accenture strategy. Sorry, I messed up the scroll. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, billable hours. Okay, so the hours are definitely a little bit worse. I would say on average, I'm looking at probably, I think an average Accenture hours weekly, especially for an analyst, which is when you first get hired, is probably like 50, maybe to 60. 50 to 60 hours a week is probably average. One of our friends is laughing because I've had a hilariously down week this particular week. So I'm way north of 40.
All right.
But Accenture strategy is probably north.
I'm gonna pause AT real quick, or Andrew real quick, and just speed through these because I feel like some people have been waiting, and I don't want to. I think we should sign off soon. But would you prioritize living with parents to save money or moving out to campus to network? I would definitely move out to campus. I think college experience, like you need people. What can I do to break into IB? I graduated from non-target school Tufts with an Econ degree. I mean, Tufts one is a very strong school in Boston. They're known for like science and engineering. Econ, no related internship. I would just try to spin it as best way possible. I'm always on the side of like, you can change anything and make it into a story. I will say try to like strengthen the fact that you have an Econ degree from Tufts, which is a very high.
Does it matter if you do finance Econ?
Wait, let me give my brother a shout out. Ian John.
Ian.
Hey, bro.
Hey, Ian. Does it matter if you do finance Econ or finance Econometrics or Actuarial to get into IB?
I would say actuarial science is very far from anything in banking and S&T. That's more of a statistics role. I would say the other two things you mentioned are fine.
Okay, someone's concerned that they're too old to get into IB. They're 23 and they'll be 25 by the time they complete an MBA CFA. Don't have any internships in finance. Other than IB, what roles should I consider?
After you get an MBA and CFA, age doesn't matter. I know people that are 32 that have gone into banking, so I think your concerns are fine.
What was your major?
Accounting and business administration.
Currently studying for SIE, then 63 and 79. Do you know anyone that has ever failed these on the first try, and do banks let you retake it?
I don't know anyone personally that has failed it, especially if they've gone through something like non-mid marks, and they'll basically hack your way into passing it. So my easier answer would be I don't think you'll fail it.
How similar is summer internship to the actual position?
I would say it's like 75%, 80% representable, but a lot of times you're paired with an analyst one above you, and I think having that extra filter makes you feel safer. But other than that, I think it's a pretty full-time experience.
This is an interesting one. How do you sound unrehearsed during interviews?
Okay, this is gonna be bad advice, and I think this more
Great preface.
This is terrible advice, actually. I think this only applies to people that are relatively good at what I call BSing, but I rarely practiced for interviews. Like I had a general understanding of what I wanted to talk about, but I think literally not rehearsing allows you to sound unrehearsed.
At Bryan, this guy's a beast. At Bryan, how did you land the IB summer internship when you graduated early? How did you get past the graduation day qualification?
Oh, I've never even thought about that. I applied regularly for the internship during my sophomore year, got it for my junior year. Summer, got a full-time return and graduated early. I don't think I really told my firm that I was graduating early, but I don't think that mattered.
Mahir says they retracted the message because they mistyped. It wasn't for the mods.
Apologies.
Shade retracted. Are there any jobs with a finance degree with normal hours and good pay? It's a great way to look at it.
That's a great way to look at it. I would say some of the strategic finance roles, some of the venture capital roles for sure, but a lot of those have barriers to entry of like needing investment banking experience.
Do you see many strategy consulting firms gravitate towards target/semi-target schools for IB, like Boston College? Is that for me? I don't know.
I don't know much about consulting, but
I'm not really involved in the recruiting.
I will say, from what I've seen, it seems like our school, which was a target school for banks, wasn't a target school for consulting, and it was a lot harder for them to get into it.
CFP or CFA?
CFA.
What does that mean?
There are different credentials you can get to say that you're chartered professional.
Which bank did you work for? Let me take this one. Guys, he can't say it, okay?
Go on Google.
It's a legal issue. That being said, I work for Accenture.
Google Bryan Jun. It's the first thing.
Is it on your LinkedIn?
Yeah. It has to be.
All right, look it up. Bryan Jun. You play chess? He's trash at chess. I play chess, though. I love chess. I think it's super fun.
All right, we're perfect at the end of the roll. I know that some of you have been waiting, but thanks guys for joining. Thank you, AT, for participating. I'm as advertised every Wednesday, 7 p.m., 10 p.m. Pacific and Eastern. I'm continuing doing the one-on-one sessions, which have been going great. I'm actually quite surprised. I've had a lot of Australian folks, which has also been fun. But sign up using the link. I will hopefully have Andrew join me in the future.
You're gonna love this last question.
But okay, I'll take one last question.
How'd you lose weight? You look great.
All right,
Doesn't he?
How did I lose weight? Well, okay, let me just go through my weight journey that I have a video on. I think after I graduated, I was relatively slim because I used my semester off to lose weight after getting crushed by all my friends calling me fat. And in order to prove them wrong, I did an hour of stair climbers a day. I cut down what I've been eating by half. I tried keto, whatever. And then I started work, started drinking again, stressed out, eating a lot because of banking. And then I really took on like a lifestyle change. And for me, it's one of those things. I'm a very drastic habit changer. I don't build up to things. I'm more of like, starting tomorrow, I'm going to eat just this and whatever. So right now during the weekdays, outside of this week, I only have 2 boiled eggs and 1 peanut butter jelly for lunch. And then like a mix of pasta and chicken for dinner.
That's what you had for lunch?
Not today.
Okay, that's not what he had for lunch today.
Typically. And then I work out every day. And I think for me, it's come to the point where I've done it long enough where if I do anything else, it makes me feel guilty and like it makes me feel like I'm breaking down what I've built up. I will also say, one last thing is, let's be real. Like most of your looks-based things are genetic. I just come from a skinny DNA pool, and like my metabolism is crazy. And I think I used to eat like a non-human, and I kind of eat like a regular human now, which allows me to be skinny. Andrew is a D3 athlete wrestler who's done a lot of weight fluctuation. In all seriousness, like
the point is, I did wrestle in college, and a lot of that is nutrition and like how do you cut weight well and stuff like that. Nutrition tips: sugar is not your friend. If you minimize sugar, it'll be good for your body, good for your weight. Calories in, calories out is a good rule of thumb. Bryan, as I understand it, worked out a lot and started eating less.
Correct.
And that's a great recipe for success.
Correct. Just Andrew, out of appreciation for you, Jonathan says thanks. Urkesh says bye guys. Kevin says thanks. Tosh says thanks. Smeasure wants us to know it's been 45 minutes. Account equity, adios. Travis, nice to meet you. I think Travis is a frequent viewer. Evan said great. Dig Gervais says it's great. Tassi really wants you to come back.
I would love to.
Kathy, what's your stock? Actually, guys, Kathy, your question, or Keithley, your question. What's your stock portfolio? My video this Saturday, guys, is about my detailing all my stock portfolio. Yeah. And then Travis, Andrew, do a wrestling move on Brian. And on that note, we will end the stream. Bye, everybody.
That's funny.